One love, family. Wholeness and balance. One love. Jesse Tree here. Here with my cat, Sebastian, the magical cat. Mm. He's all full of dreadlocks. And my hair is starting to get long. I'm going to be doing dreads again soon. Look at this stuff. It's like, it gets kind of crazy. I get a big old Latino fro because I'm part Panamanian. Oh, so, you know, dreads is kind of easier. Excited to be connected with you all today. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I just wanted to share a few notes about practice and benefit through practice and consistency with practice. You know, there's so many things that we think of in our culture, like, you know, people who are doctors or lawyers or, you know, have these big important jobs, right? A lot on the line, you know, big energy. But you notice that both lawyers and doctors have what are called a practice, that they're still practicing. They're practicing medicine, practicing law. And that's really kind of the mode to be in all things. I remember when, you know, I was training to be a professional musician. That was really my first love and still is in a lot of ways. And I just, you know, got busy being a dad and got really involved in permaculture for the last, 20 years in herbalism. And that's been a blessing. And that's a practice too. But the thing with being a musician is my teacher used to say, practice like you're performing. Practice like you're there at the performance. And that way, when you go to perform, it'll be like second nature, And then another phrase out there is, practice makes permanent. Perfect practice makes perfect. Some people will say practice makes perfect, but and both of those have truth to them. Like, the better you can do things from the beginning, like I remember with drumming, if you didn't have your hands held in the right position and the right, grip the sticks the right way, then, you practice that for 5 years or so, and then you learn that that's not right, and you have to start over, and it's like this whole setback, right? So, we have all these things we're trying to practice into our lives, right? Practice wealth, health, happiness, enlightenment. These kinds of things come through consistent practice, and they're the result. They're the fruit of practice. And they shouldn't be, the ends. You shouldn't, just because you make $1 million doesn't mean you should stop. Just because you achieve enlightenment doesn't mean you should stop meditating. Just because your health is good doesn't mean you can quit. If you do, then everything goes south, right? So practice is such a key element of our lives. And I was thinking about this with respect to Buddhism, and I would literally have the goal of, I would like to achieve supreme perfect enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings, that I will be enlightened one day. It may be many lifetimes from now, right? But that is my goal. And studying all the different forms of practice, I did, some time doing Zen practice, some Rinzai-ji Zen practice, Japanese Buddhism, and I've also been studying Tibetan Buddhism for a long time. I haven't actually studied with a teacher. I've recently been involved with a local group, just doing weekend pujas and full moon pujas and things. But in Tibetan practice, they have like sort of the lesser practices and the more complicated higher practices. So Lam Rim is like your basic practice, and then they have the higher practices of like Dzogchen and Mahamudra. And something that I learned in playing music was that if you want to be a master the basics. You can reach the higher levels by doing the basic things really well, you know. So this also translates to health, or like the pranic path, you know. If you practice grounding and qigong and meditation, and you know, I would offer that everyone is a breatharian. But if you're working with those kinds of things, sun gazing, energy work, Reiki, what have you, if you're mindful of your diet in any way, but particularly if you're working with fasting, you're working with raw foods, you're well on your way to being a full breatharian, because we're all energy beings and we're just learning how to manage our energy, balance our energy, manipulate energy, and that's the practice with prana. And so the whole thing is mastering the basics, mastering your relationships, mastering consistent practice of eating well, of these other things, fasting, meditation being the foundation, I think, of like enlightenment, of health, of I don't know how anyone gets through a day without some meditation practice, because that's another thing some of the masters say. The only thing to master is how to relax. So if you can't just be relaxed, and I don't mean like dead, or asleep, or I mean just in calm and in your center and in stillness. If you can master that, particularly when things are crazy and wild and chaotic and difficult, then that's why we practice meditation, not so that we can just be in like this never-ending bliss state, but so that when hard stuff happens, we can manage it from a place of clarity and stillness and compassion. So that's basically all I wanted to share today, was this whole idea of practice. Like, never to feel like you haven't done it, that you're not capable, not to be too fixated on a goal and then drop your goal when you're done, and just to be aware of that. It's like, yes, I'm a drummer. I've been drumming for about 40 years, but I stopped practicing, consistently for many years, and now it's like I have to start all over again in so many ways. There's so much that's in me that my brain knows how to do that I don't have the fine motor memory of, that I have to rebuild. So even though I've been calling myself a drummer all these years that I've been primarily being a father and a gardener, it's like, it's just a never-ending process. That's what I'm getting to. Just to fall in love with the practice and enjoy the practice, and then the fruits will ripen of themselves, and the fruits will ripen, the sort of the I'm using the word fruits, but I'm trying to think of the word, the results will match the practice. So if you practice well, then you will have good results, and you practice consistently. It is an inevitability. Just to switch the mind off of the focus of your goals, to help, my hope here is to help you have a better life as much as I can offer from my small amount of what I've gathered in this life. And that has been one thing for me lately that has been really profound, is just to fall in love with the practices and never mind all the goals. Goals are fine. It's good to have goals, but they can also be your undoing. So focus on practice. Anyway, hope you got something from this, family. Hope you have a beautiful day. One love. Be well. And speaking of practice, I'm still practicing liquiditarianism. So today I have blood orange, cherry, carrot, vanilla juice. And I got my usual Purium Power Shake that I'm going to put some goji berry calendula lemon balm tea in. And then I have a medicinal mushroom elixir here, root beer. And I got a little bit of seaweed. That's gonna be myself. Oh, and my friend Callan brought me a beautiful fruit of a barrel cactus from Tucson. So my wife and I are gonna nosh on this. I'll have, just a little sliver just to try it. But I love juicing and working with wild foods. I'd love to work liquiditarianism like I was with permaculture and foraging, where I was basically eating everything everything I ate was stuff I grew or wildcrafted. And that was really fun. I'd like to do that again. So back to practice. All right, bless family, wholeness.